In the ancient land of Canaan, in a time before kingdoms and before kings, there lived a man named Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, but one of them he loved above all the others. His name was Joseph, and Joseph was different from the moment he was born. Jacob gave Joseph a gift that would change everything. A coat of many colors. It was not just a coat. It was a declaration. This son is different. This son is chosen. And the brothers saw it, and they hated him for it. Then Joseph began to dream. He dreamed that he and his brothers were binding sheaves of grain in the field. And his sheaf rose up and stood upright. And his brothers' sheaves gathered around it and bowed down to his. When Joseph told his brothers about the dream, they hated him even more. Then he dreamed again. This time the sun and moon and 11 stars all bowed down to him. Even his father rebuked him. "Shall I and your mother and your brothers truly come and bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers resented him, but his father kept the matter in his heart. One day Jacob called Joseph to him and sent him to check on his brothers, who were tending the flocks far away in Shechem. Joseph walked and walked, miles from home, following his father's instruction, not knowing what awaited him. His brothers saw him coming from far away, and before he even arrived, they made a plan. They said to one another, "Here comes the dreamer. Come now, let us kill him." Reuben, the eldest brother, spoke up, "Do not shed his blood. Throw him into this pit out here in the wilderness, but do not lay a hand on him." And so when Joseph arrived, smiling, unaware, calling out to his brothers, they seized him. They stripped him of his coat, the coat of many colors that his father had given him. And they threw him into the pit. Then they sat down to eat bread. And as they ate, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead, traders on their way to Egypt. Judah said, "What profit is it if we kill our brother and hide his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites." And so they pulled Joseph up out of the pit, and they sold their brother to the traders for 20 pieces of silver. The traders bound him and placed him on a camel, and the caravan moved on toward Egypt. Then the brothers took Joseph's coat, and they killed a goat and dipped the coat in its blood. They brought the coat to their father and said, "We found this. Tell us, is this your son's coat or not?" And Jacob tore his garments and put on sackcloth and mourned for his son many days. He said, "I will go down to my son in mourning to the grave." But Joseph was not dead. Joseph had arrived in Egypt, and the traders sold him to a man named Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard. Joseph was taken into Potiphar's house as a slave. He had lost everything: his home, his father, his freedom, his future as he understood it. But the Bible records something remarkable. The Lord was with Joseph, and Joseph prospered. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all he did to succeed. Potiphar made Joseph overseer of his house, and put everything he had into his hand. Because of Joseph, the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house, and Joseph was handsome in form and appearance. And Potiphar's wife noticed, and she said to Joseph, "Lie with me." But Joseph refused. He said, "How can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" Day after day she spoke to him, and day after day he refused. Then one day Joseph came into the house to do his work, and she caught him by his garment. And he fled and ran outside. She called to her servants and she lied. She said, "The Hebrew slave came to mock me." And when I cried out, he fled and left his garment with me. And when Potiphar heard his wife's words, his anger burned. And he took Joseph and put him into the prison, the pit again, the darkness again, everything lost again. But still, the Lord was with Joseph. And the keeper of the prison put Joseph in charge of all the prisoners. Whatever was done there, he was the one who did it. Then 2 men were thrown into prison, Pharaoh's cupbearer and Pharaoh's baker. One morning Joseph came to them and saw that they were troubled. And he said, "Why do your faces look so sad today?" They said, "We each had a dream last night, and there is no one to interpret them." Joseph said, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." The cupbearer told his dream, and Joseph interpreted it. "In 3 days, you will be restored to your position. You will place Pharaoh's cup in his hand as before." Then Joseph said, "But remember me when it goes well with you. Mention me to Pharaoh, for I was taken from the land of the Hebrews, and I have done nothing to deserve this prison." The baker told his dream, and Joseph interpreted it. "In 3 days, Pharaoh will hang you." On the 3rd day, it happened exactly as Joseph said. The cupbearer was restored. The baker was executed. Yet the cupbearer did not remember Joseph. He forgot him. 2 full years passed. Joseph remained in prison, forgotten by men, but not by God. Then Pharaoh dreamed. He stood by the Nile, and out of the Nile came 7 cows, beautiful and fat, and they grazed in the reed grass. Then 7 other cows came up after them out of the Nile, ugly and thin, and the thin, ugly cows ate the 7 fat, beautiful cows. And Pharaoh awoke. He fell asleep again and dreamed a second time. 7 full and good ears of grain growing on one stalk. Then 7 thin and blighted ears swallowed them up. In the morning his spirit was troubled. He called for all the magicians and wise men of Egypt. But there was no one who could interpret the dreams. Then the cupbearer remembered. He said, "Today I remember my faults. There was a young Hebrew man in the prison. He interpreted our dreams. And everything happened exactly as he said. And Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and they brought him quickly out of the prison. And Joseph shaved himself and changed his clothes. And he came before Pharaoh. Pharaoh said, "I have heard that you can interpret dreams." Joseph answered, "It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer." And Joseph interpreted both dreams. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout Egypt. After them will come 7 years of famine, so severe that the abundance will not be remembered. Then Joseph gave Pharaoh his counsel. "Let Pharaoh appoint a discerning and wise man. Let him take 1/5 of all the harvest during the 7 years of plenty. Store it for the 7 years of famine, so that Egypt will not perish." And Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find anyone like this man? A man in whom is the Spirit of God?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has shown you all this, there is none so discerning and wise as you are. You shall be over my house, and all my people shall order themselves as you command." He was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. During the 7 years of plenty, Joseph gathered food like the sand of the sea, very much, until he stopped keeping records because it was beyond measure. Then the 7 years of famine began. And the famine was over all the earth. And all the earth came to Egypt to buy grain. And among those who came were 10 men from Canaan, Joseph's brothers. The brothers came and bowed themselves before Joseph with their faces to the earth. Joseph recognized his brothers immediately, but he concealed himself from them. He spoke roughly to them. He said, "You are spies. You have come to see the weakness of the land." The brothers said, "We are 12 brothers, sons of one man in Canaan. The youngest is with our father today, and one is no more." Joseph had Simeon bound before their eyes and kept him. Then he had their sacks filled with grain, and he sent them home to bring their youngest brother. The brothers said to one another, "We are truly guilty concerning our brother. We saw his distress when he pleaded with us, and we did not listen. Therefore this distress has come upon us." Joseph heard them, and he turned away from them and wept. Eventually, the famine forced the brothers to return to Egypt, this time with Benjamin, the youngest, the son Jacob loved most after Joseph. When Joseph saw Benjamin, his own brother, his heart yearned for him. He went quickly to his private room and wept. Then Joseph could no longer control himself. He cried, "Have everyone leave me." And he wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard it, and the house of Pharaoh heard it. He said, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" His brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed at his presence. Joseph said, "Come close to me." And when they came close, he said, I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. Do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life. It was not you who sent me here, but God. He made me father to Pharaoh and lord of all his house and ruler over all the land of Egypt. Then Joseph fell on his brother Benjamin's neck and wept. And Benjamin wept on his neck. And he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. And Pharaoh heard of it and was pleased. He sent wagons and provisions for the entire family. He said, "Bring your father and your households and come to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt." The brothers made the long journey back to Canaan, back to their father, and they said to him, "Joseph is still alive. He is ruler of all Egypt." And his heart became numb, for he did not believe them. Then they told him all the words of Joseph, and they showed him the wagons. And the spirit of their father Jacob revived. And Jacob said, "It is enough. Joseph my son is still alive. I will go and see him before I die." And Jacob came to Egypt, and Joseph made ready his chariot, and went to Goshen to meet his father. And he fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while. And Israel said, "Now let me die, since I have seen your face and you are still alive." The story of Joseph is not a story about a boy who got lucky. It is a story about a God who never loses the plot. The pit was not the end. The slave ship was not the end. The prison was not the end. The forgotten promise was not the end. Every single thing that looked like a detour was actually the road. What your brothers meant for evil, God meant for good. Your story is not over. The chapter you are in right now is not the last chapter. Keep going.